You guys are having a wonderful day. Welcome, welcome, welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I am here today with having the privilege and the honor to speak with a very special guest by the name of Pastor Akisha Jefferson. Pastor Akisha is the pastor of First Sundays Church, which I heard about when I went to go speak at Bowie University in Maryland, Bowie State, and I was so impressed with Pastor Jefferson that I said, "Gosh, I'd like to really talk to you again because this what you're doing is pretty amazing." And so, without further ado, I'd like to welcome Pastor Jefferson. How you doing today, ma'am?
I am great. So good to see you again. Happy Friday. Happy Valentine's Day. An honor and a privilege to be with you today.
Well, thank you. The honor and the privilege is all mine. So you told me something that kind of tripped me out. I didn't know when I got there. I knew that I was invited to speak at Bowie State, and I knew that that somebody was doing something to make something happen. And as I started to find out more about your Wealth Summit, I found out that you were the main person behind it,
Hmm.
not just behind it spiritually and everything else, but also behind it financially. Like you
Hmm.
actually did something that I thought was really impressive. You
Hmm.
actually decided to hold a wealth summit so our people could get together and get better at wealth. And also you did that at Bowie State, which is that your alma mater?
It is. Bowie State is my alma mater where I got my undergrad degree.
Yeah, and to introduce our young people to wealth, which I thought was just
Hmm.
extraordinary. Tell us that story. Like, how did that summit come to be?
Yeah, honestly, in full transparency, after the presidential election in November, I was just as disgusted, discouraged, and depressed as so many other people. Just kind of got quiet to ask, like, what does this look like for my family for the next 4 years, for my community, for my people for the next 4 years? And just kind of got quiet. And so I didn't know whether that looked like bringing some other faith leaders together to sit at a table to talk about what this looks like for our community for the next 4 years. Reached out to a couple people, crickets, nobody replied. I'm like, is this, to have a prayer breakfast and, try to encourage the people because you could feel a spirit of hopelessness hovering over DC because we're in DC, the heart of the government. And so got quiet, God was quiet. And so God dropped in my spirit the Wealth Summit. And this is God. This has nothing to do with me. I'm a vessel. And so God said, had the wealth, He said, I want you to host the Wealth Summit because the next 4 years looks like chaos, but it smells like money.
Mm.
And you all are going to miss it because you're going to be so focused on the distractions that you're going to miss the money. And it's not that our people don't have it because I'm looking at you all carrying $1,000 purses and wearing $1,000 tennis shoes. So it's not that you don't have it, it's just that you don't know what to do with it. So can you imagine if instead of you bought that purse, I thought about in 1998 when I graduated from Bowie, instead of buying a Gucci bag, if I had bought Gucci stock, that stock would be worth so much more. But I didn't know that. And so nobody taught me that, So in school, they teach us fractions and not finance. They teach us calculus and not credit. They teach us literature and not investing. So I didn't know. And so that's really the heart of the Wealth Summit. And no, we did not have any sponsors. The sponsor was me, Akisha Sharon Jefferson. That was the sponsor. That was the
Well,
sponsor.
well, I'm gonna tell you that, but and that's what you're supposed to do.
Mhm.
You're the sponsor, you're the spark. You, I like that you're what I call a playmaker.
Mm,
I'm a former athlete. Once an athlete, always an athlete, and
mm,
a playmaker in sports would be just somebody who makes something happen.
mhm, mhm,
Football, you get an interception, you sack the quarterback, you
mhm,
score a touchdown because you
mhm,
know your team needs you. Your team
mhm.
needs you to score points,
Yes,
especially
yes,
when they're having a hard time in the game.
yes.
Somebody's waiting, and a lot of times, you think about even to go with the sports analogy, you'll have times where the team is sitting there losing, getting pummeled, and they're
Mhm,
waiting for a hero. Everybody's waiting for somebody to be able to step up and
Yes.
either nobody can or nobody will. And
Yes.
but then when somebody does step up, everybody's excited, like go,
Mhm.
go, go. And
Mhm.
that's how I felt when I saw you step up. I said, okay, we got a winner here because you took that initiative. You listened to God,
Mhm.
you made a move, you made a sacrifice.
Mhm.
And I want everybody to just sort of I want everyone to understand how important that is. A lot of folks will talk a good game but won't follow through.
Yeah.
And for us, sacrifice and investment are very much connected.
Mhm.
You made a sacrifice, which
Mhm.
was an investment, but
Mhm.
you were making a special kind of investment, which was an investment in other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because I
Absolutely.
got, because I can see, I saw that nice suit you had on and stuff, and I said, I bet you Pastor Jefferson and her family are okay. I'm sure you and your husband are okay, but
Mhm.
you were thinking about people that are not okay, which
Absolutely.
which to me makes you
Mhm.
more than okay,
Mhm.
in the eyes of just God and just what's right and what's decent in the world, the kinds of people that we need in the community. Can you speak to
Mhm.
some or just more of that?
Yeah. What do you do when God tells you to build an ark and it's not raining?
Mm,
And that's what he told me to do in November. Who knew the climate that we would be in right now?
mm,
Who knew what was to come with people by the thousands losing their federal government jobs? People that knew how they were paying their mortgage this month won't have a clue how to pay it next month. What do you do? And so, our community, we've got to make better decisions because nobody's coming to save us. Nobody's coming to save us. Batman, he doesn't exist. And so our way of life is, who knew in November when God told me to do that our very way of life would be under attack. I'm in DC. So pretty much it's impossible to not know somebody that has been affected by the new administration. Majority of people that live here are employed by the government. If they're not employed by the government, they are employed with an agency that gets funding from the government. So right now, off the top of my head, I have 3 people at my church who have lost jobs in the last 2 weeks. And
mm,
these are single mothers with children and mortgages. And
mm.
so we've got to do more than sing and shout on Sunday, because we've got to give people a relevant gospel that helps them live from day to day and be able to navigate and pivot. So if you lost this job, then what's next, so yeah, we've got to give people some other tools and tips and strategies about what to do with their wealth. Nobody's coming to save us.
Well, I agree with you. And everybody, in case you just came in, I'm talking to Pastor Akisha Jefferson. She's the pastor of First Sundays Church. And what city is your church in?
We're in Clinton, Maryland, right off of Old Branch Avenue.
Okay, Clinton, Maryland, right off of Old Branch Avenue.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
I want to make sure people know where you're at so they can go find you. And
Yes.
your First Sundays is a unique kind of church because you
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
go to church every single Sunday.
No.
It's the first Sunday of every month. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Because I really believe that we are called to be supplemental insurance for the kingdom. And so people have supplemental dental insurance and supplemental with Aflac. We are supplemental insurance for the kingdom. Everybody, I believe there's a population of people that absolutely love God, but they don't necessarily have to be in church every Sunday. And I'm one of them, and I'm the pastor. And so literally first Sundays we are non-traditional, but we absolutely love God. We are called to serve our community. So we meet once a month, the first Sunday for 90 minutes. Service starts at 2, and we get it in praise and worship, communion, the word, and we're back out the door. But yeah,
Wow.
that's who we are.
Well, and I really love that. I really like the idea of you kind of understanding, that the importance of our faith, the
Mhm.
importance of spirituality, all these things that can get
Yes.
us through a tough spot,
Yes.
really keep us going, renew our energy, mentally, physically, and otherwise, it mixed with the importance of taking action. You
Yes.
used a term earlier where you talked about, building an ark when it's not raining.
Yeah.
All that is investing or insurance. That's
Hmm.
what, um, as a finance person, I can tell you that that's what that is.
Mhm.
It's easy to say we need to build an ark when it's raining. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, of course.
Mhm.
Or everybody wants to build an ark
Mhm.
or get an umbrella when the rain is coming down. The
Mhm.
question is, do you have enough consciousness to realize that just because the sun is up right now, that this too shall pass, and at some
Yes.
point the rain is coming.
Yes.
And I talk to my students all the time. I say, look, winter is coming. The bad days are
Yes.
coming. Hard times are coming.
Yes.
And you prepare for the hard times during the good times. You don't try to
Yes.
scramble and react to the hard
Yes.
times,
Yes.
and I think that that's the shortcoming that happens when we get tricked into
Yeah.
letting others train us to become reactionary people
Yes.
as opposed
Mm.
to proactionary
Yeah.
people. Can you
Yeah.
kind of speak to that?
Yeah, when you think about Jesus in the New Testament, the man with the withered hand, he told him to stretch out his hand. The man that was on the mat, he told him to get up and walk, pick up your mat. And so your miracle requires your participation.
Mm,
Your breakthrough requires your participation. It
mm,
requires you to do something. The
mm,
only shots that you miss are the ones that you don't throw.
mm,
And so literally this season is going to require you to do something. And so you talk about faith. We're not new as a people to trouble. We're not
mm,
new to discrimination and racism. We've been living under the illusion that we've arrived in America. We have not. This regime has showed you, these times have shown you, we have not arrived. We have not. And so our mothers, our grandmothers, they didn't have the internet, they didn't have Gucci bags, and they didn't have a million followers on YouTube. They had faith.
yeah,
They had faith. And
yeah.
so we have lost that because we have this thing where we feel like we've arrived. Our degrees have put us here, and our networks have put us here, and our resumes have put us here. But no, we got to reach back into the arsenal of the foremothers and forefathers whose shoulders we stand on, the people that literally had scraps and made meals, the people that took shacks and made homes, the people that took moans and made a movement, the people that took songs and made the blues. These are the people's shoulders we stand on. And this season is a reminder to us of who we are and who we come from. We have not arrived. We have not. And so the fight is going to be won, but we can't win it broke.
Mm.
We can't win it broke.
Hmm. That's right. That's right. It, and I'm gonna tell you, when I was listening to you, and I'm enjoying what you're saying, I thought about something someone said in the chat where they mentioned faith over fear,
Yeah,
and I think that's important, and I think that faith and fear can coexist a little bit, but
absolutely.
faith has to win, right?
Hmm.
I feel the
Hmm.
fear, but the faith helps me overcome the fear.
Yeah.
And really, what another thing that can help you overcome the fear, in addition to the faith, is the finances. If
Yes.
you got finances and faith, then fear is not so much of an adversary or an obstacle. And so, anyway, it looks like there we go. Pastor Jefferson's back. There she is. Yeah. And so what I encourage people to do is to understand uh, that your goal in life isn't just to be a faith-filled, courageous person. Uh,
Yes.
you can feel the fear. We all get a little bit afraid sometimes. But be faith-filled and be courageous, but also give yourself some financial security. Because
Yeah.
I can tell you, I would get credit all the time, Pastor, where people would say, "Gosh, Dr. Boyce, I don't know how you do it. You just say the stuff everybody's thinking, but other people are scared to say." And I'm like, we scared to say it. Like who's listening? Is Massa listening? And I'm being silly, but I would be thinking to myself, well, actually, I'm not really a courage. I'm not more courageous than you.
Yeah.
I just put myself in a position
Yeah.
where nobody who uh does not have my best interest at heart is
Hmm.
paying the bills in my house.
Yes.
I'm financially independent. That's all that
Yes.
is.
Yes.
What you're doing is what you're hearing. That's surprising is you're hearing the words of a free black man.
Mm.
I'm not beholden to nobody. I'm not scared of
Yes.
anybody because it's like, well, what you gonna do? Oh,
Yeah.
you gonna take away the money? Oh, that's all right. I got some money over here. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, because I went through that. Speaking of that, because I spoke at your summit. I speak at different
Hmm.
places and stuff, and
Hmm.
there was one place that I spoke, another similar kind of event that was very nice. It was down in Birmingham, and lots of amazing Black people. And unfortunately, a lot of them were still kind of tethered to the corporate plantation in various ways. And the sponsor wasn't a courageous person like you. It was they had corporate sponsors, right?
Hmm.
So now here's the thing: I went down there and I spoke. They loved it. I was happy because my goal is just to tell the truth, right?
Yeah.
And they said we loved you so much, we want you to come back next year. I said great. So then, but here's the thing: if you decide you ride with me, that means you got to understand that I'm gonna go find the truth wherever it's at. And
Yeah.
if the truth has me in the middle of some poo poo or something, in a stinky situation,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go over there, and I'm not gonna care. I'm gonna keep
Yeah.
moving. So,
Yeah.
there was a little controversy that came up, and I said what I said, and I did not stutter. I did not back up. I did not care what the media thought, and it became a thing.
Yeah.
And I remember so they reached out and my speaking fee is not cheap. They had paid
Hmm.
half the money, but they canceled the event. And so the way it works is I kept the half that they put down as a deposit is not refundable, and the
Yeah.
other half I didn't get. And I just remember kind of saying, well, I'm sorry that you feel this way. I'm sorry this happened. I'm not even angry at you. I
Yeah.
know why this happened. I know
Yeah.
that the sponsors
Yeah.
were not comfortable with me. I know how you feel about me because you and I talked directly. We all looked each other in the eye. Y'all
Yeah.
love me and I love you.
Yeah.
But what's happened is that man's money has
Hmm.
disrupted our ability to have a relationship
Hmm.
because they're telling us which Black people we're allowed to be friends with.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And this is what I talk about. That is inappropriate to me. I don't get
Hmm.
to tell Elon Musk if he can be friends with Donald Trump. You
Listen,
understand? That you don't get to tell other people what they can. So how the hell they gonna excuse my friend? How they gonna tell us who that I can't be friends with Akisha Jefferson?
I just told my brother and husband yesterday. We had a conversation. I don't know if you remember this. They literally made Barack Obama renounce his pastor, Jeremiah Wright.
Yep, that's right.
They literally, when he was running for the president, they made him literally renounce his pastor. Not because he said anything wrong, not that he said anything that was incorrect, but the fact that he was too radical. We
Hmm.
need you to make a distance to basically renounce your leadership, your pastor. And then on the other hand, you have somebody in the Oval Office calling you a parasite, calling your mother a parasite because she needs to rely on Medicare, or calling your child in the inner city who needs to rely on a hot breakfast or a hot lunch a parasite. And so what America has shown you is just what you said. As long as you are comfortable, and long as you're not, saying anything that's gonna make people uncomfortable, no. You don't get to tell me what to say. You don't get to navigate my history. No, you don't. You don't get to water down, discount what my people have been through and what they're still going through.
Yes, yes. Well, and well, the thing about it to me, Pastor Jefferson, is that we've been falsely led to believe that we live in a country that allows for free speech.
No, sir.
We do not have free speech.
No.
Free speech must be accompanied by enough financial independence that you can endure the consequences of the things that you
Yes.
say.
Yes.
And what happens with us is that because we are raised and trained to become economically dependent on people that are also seeking to oppress us,
Yes.
is that every time the situation calls for us to stand up, somebody
Hmm.
sits over us and tells us to sit right back down,
My.
or I'm going to take away that paycheck.
My.
Oh, yeah.
It's a scripture that says, "It was good for me that I was afflicted." And I absolutely, this is very uncomfortable. It is discouraging. We're living in very trying and troubling times. But I really believe this season is good for us as a people,
Yes.
because we have gotten too complacent. We have gotten too comfortable. We have gotten too comfortable with the illusion that we've arrived and we've
Mm,
made it. But what can feed you can starve you. And
Yes.
so this literally is, it's good for us as a people so that we can come to the conclusion that we've got to put some things in place so that we can have generational wealth, so we can build our own table. So I don't know, you and I,
Mhm.
we talked about this, but my family and I have been talking for years about starting an investment group. And so last year we were like, yeah, nobody's coming to save us. So we finally took the idea out of the group, the family group chat, and we formed an investment club. We finally took it out the group chat. And so we literally we formed an LLC, and we purchased our first investment last year, which was a hotel. I had the honor of being able to go to Lake Charles, Louisiana, for the investors retreat with all the owners, with 100 other people that look like us, black and brown people from all over the country, who had helped purchase this hotel in Lake Charles, Louisiana. It
Mm.
was absolutely amazing, but it was such a reminder to me of who we can be when we come together and collaborate and decide that generational wealth starts with me. It starts with my generation today, not tomorrow. Just an
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful thing. And so, I just think that a lot of times we don't do it because we just don't know. Like, I didn't know the first property I bought when I was 25 for $40,000, I shouldn't have sold it. I didn't know. I didn't know. Instead of buying a Gucci bag, I should have bought Gucci stock. I didn't know. My mother was a DC public school teacher, and she taught me how to be a lady. She taught me how to take care of a house. She taught me how to serve in church, but she could not teach me what she did not know.
Mm.
And 50%, I read an article that said 50% of Americans are financially illiterate.
That's right.
50%. So how can you manage money? How can you grow money if you don't understand money?
Yes.
Everybody's uncomfortable talking about giving it in church, but you're not uncomfortable talking about buying Beyonce tickets.
Nope. Nope. My wife and my sister was talking about that this morning. They said I said she's on tour again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was this morning.
Yeah. Yeah. She's
That's
on
heavy
tour.
that you say that, Pastor. By the way,
Yeah.
everybody, I'm talking to Pastor Akisha Jefferson. She is the pastor of First Sundays Church in Clinton, Maryland. It's right off of Old. You said Old Bush Road. I can't even remember.
Old
Old
branch. But
Branch.
they
Old
can go to
Branch.
our they can go to our website, or our Instagram page, any of it, and follow us. But our website is www.firstsundays.org. But
FirstSundays.org. Okay.
yeah, but we're right in Clinton, Maryland. But we're on Instagram and Facebook. First Sundays, you can
All
follow
right.
us.
FirstSundays.org. I'm gonna put that on the screen so everybody can see it.
Yeah.
Also, you can listen to this podcast on Spotify. If you look up my name, Boyce Watkins, you can find me there. And in addition to that, you all know that every single morning, if you are not as financially literate as you'd like to be, there's no excuse. We actually teach finances, and we do our version of First Sundays. We in there every day, Pastor,
I
and you're
love
invited
it.
too. And we teach every single morning. I teach finance. It's something called Money in the Morning,
I've
and
been logging on.
oh, have you?
I've been logging on since you came to the Wealth Summit, and
Oh,
so many people that came to the Wealth Summit have joined the movement, and they've been logging on every single day.
nice. I love it. Well, you know what? And bless. I mean, one, come all. I mean, we were doing this before things got bad.
Hmm.
We'll be doing this after this Trump stuff
Yes.
is over. You
Yes.
know, I encourage everybody. Like, look, don't constantly shift who you are based on what other people are doing. Be
Hmm.
who you gonna be and stand on that. You know,
Yes.
just be who you going. You know, so this is where we've been here for a while,
Yes.
Pastor, because money matters. You know,
Hmm.
so many people have money problems, so much stress
Hmm.
over money, people scared
Hmm.
over money, financial anxiety. My wife is a therapist, and you know, we
Yes.
talk about that a lot. And I would just say that also there's very few things that are riskier than being black in America. And when you are under that level of risk, you have to be prepared. Yeah,
Wow.
oh, yeah, process that. Like, why would you go into a highly risky situation completely unprepared and not expect to be living in the middle of chaos and disaster every single day? You
Yeah.
know, so I want to invite everybody. If you aren't coming to the class, you can text the word morning to the number 87948. I put that on the screen. I'm also put Pastor Jefferson's website on the screen so everybody can go and check out firstsundays.org. because firstsundays.org deserves our attention, because the Pastor Akisha is here because she is a soldier. She is not just somebody who talks the talk, she walked the walk. And that's why I wanted to invite you, because and I'd love for you to kind of talk even more about that, anything that comes to mind. But there's a lot of people that can do a lot of
Mhm.
this. Talk
Mhm.
is cheap, but when you
Mhm.
pull up, when you sit up and you write a check, things
Mhm.
actually happen. And this is,
Mhm.
I think, a conversation we should have with some of our black celebrities, right? we
Mhm.
we just had a Super Bowl that was defined as the blackest Super Bowl ever, and
Mm.
you have black people on the stage, black people on the field, but
But none in the owner's booth.
exactly. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. You were paying attention. And that is that's a plantation. That's what that is. Don't
Mhm.
get me wrong. I'm not making fun of it. It was a lot of
Mhm.
fun.
Yeah.
Plantations, I'm sure they have fun on some, they had some fun days on the plantation, maybe.
Yeah.
Like
Maybe.
you have a day where, the slaves are dancing and singing and celebrating, but I at some point we got to figure out who's going to own all this.
Yeah.
I say the people providing the labor should own things, and but in order for that to happen, somebody has to step up and make something happen. Namely, somebody has to step up and write a check. So,
Mhm.
can you kind of talk about the Wealth Summit, just what that was like for you to put
Yeah.
on an event like that? We do the
Mhm.
All Black National Convention, and I get 18,000 headaches every year we do it.
Phew.
It literally it's a labor of love for people. If I
Yeah.
just not do it anymore, I would stop because it's hard. So
It
tell me
is.
about that, what that experience was like for you.
It was absolutely like you said. It was how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? And keep in mind, God gave me this to do in November, and we had this in February. So
Wow.
really, to do execute an event that on this size, this magnitude, really, it should be 6 months. We probably had 60 days, and
Woo.
so we literally had 60 days. But I had an amazing team. So when God gave me this vision, I'm like, God, you got to give me the team to help me do this. And so I had an amazing team. So people saw me on the front, but they did not see the women and men that were beside me that were literally helping me execute and carry the vision. But the Wealth Summit, literally the whole goal of the Wealth Summit was literally to provide um art intelligence,
Mm,
financial intelligence to our people, to give them some new insight and equip them with some new tools of what they can do with their money. Sometimes people feel like I'm too old, I've missed it, I'm too young, I don't need to start it. No, you're right where you need to be.
yeah.
And so I wanted to have you just as a pioneer to jumpstart, and that's just what you did. I thought that it would be negligent to just have you come and talk about money, but not have a clinician come and talk about health and wealth in your mind,
Mhm.
because I know a lot of people with money, but they can't sleep at night, or a lot of people with money that's taking medicine to get through the day. So, we had a clinician to come and talk about how to navigate your mental health for the next 4 years. Because no, you cannot watch CNN, you cannot watch the news 24 hours a day and think you're going to be positive and you're going to be able to function.
Yeah.
And so, the goal was really to give everybody just a different perspective of what to do with your money. So this is the beginning of a movement. We've already decided we're going to do this again in 2026. We want you
Yeah.
back. We're going to jumpstart Black History Month with it, and we're just believing that every year it'll catch on, and more and more people will come out and get what they need to change the trajectory of their lives. The thing is, the next 4 years, we can't change who's in the White House, but we can change what's going on in our homes.
Yes.
We, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. We can't change what's going on Pennsylvania Avenue, but we sure enough can change what's going on in our homes if we make better decisions. We were
Mhm.
born looking like you were born looking like your parents, but you're gonna die looking like your decisions.
Right on. Woo. Oh, you're gonna die looking like your decisions. Like, let me write that down.
Mhm.
Die looking like yo.
Yeah, yeah. You
Because
you are. You are.
and that's heavy, because
You are.
when you think about some of these messy situations where someone dies and it's a mess.
Hmm.
You're looking like your decisions, and I know as a man, I don't want to look like that. I
Yeah.
don't want my children to see me that way,
Yeah.
and I want to say, I just want to thank you for everything that you've done.
Mm, thank you.
I want to just make sure I publicly make it clear to everyone that I just have admiration for the fact that you stepped up to the plate.
Thank you.
I see a lot of people do a lot of stuff, and I respect it, but there's a difference between the people that are willing to sacrifice and invest in something versus people that just will talk about it,
Yeah.
and because I can just even when Diddy was still popping and popular, he called Dr. Claude Anderson and flew him up and danced around and talked about how great Powernomics was, but did not write a check. Did
Mhm.
he? But you
Mhm.
writing checks for everything else. You writing checks
Mhm.
for baby oil and and private jets and
Trips.
big
Mhm.
big
Mhm.
$1,000 liquor bottles. But you can't
Yeah.
write a check for
Yeah.
something structural
Yeah.
for your community. Then I mean, because our community is a community that needs
Mhm.
the grown-ups to really understand what it means to really build and develop something.
Mhm.
And
The
and I like the
grown-ups.
way you also blended mental health with the finances because it's all
Yes.
connected. We don't
Yes.
want a bunch of crazy rich people running around in our
Yes.
community,
Yes.
and that's what America is. America is a rich
Yeah.
country full of crazy people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every study shows
Yeah.
that Americans have the highest net worth or highest income
Mhm.
of anybody on the planet per capita,
Mhm.
but we have the lowest quality of life. Our
Ooh. Ooh.
families are broken. Our
Yes.
mental health is gone because everybody's working so much. That's how we're so
Yes.
productive. Capitalism really got y'all is cracking the whip on y'all, right? That's
Yes.
what capitalism's doing, and it's making us really financially productive, but we are empty
Mhm.
spiritually.
Yeah. It's so funny you say that. This morning I went to the gym and I was thinking about Luther Vandross.
Mm,
And today is Valentine's Day, and all I could think of on the treadmill was a house is not a home if nobody's living there. A chair is just a chair. And Luther testified. And so it's like, you can work so hard and ascribe to get all of these things, but what is a big house if every room is empty and it's just you in there by yourself? What
mm,
is a pocket full of money and at the end of the day, you are by yourself, or you at dinner by yourself, or you vacationing by yourself because you're so jacked up you can't have relationship. And
mm,
so,
mhm.
and that's why I love when you came to the Wealth Summit and you talked a lot about relationships being being a big thing of wealth. And
Yeah.
so you're absolutely right. I know so many people with a pocket full of money and don't have a pocket full of peace. And then
Mm,
I can go to
mm.
Southeast and see a client that lives in a one bedroom efficiency, sleeping on a mattress and got a song in their heart and joy in their spirit. And so you gotta be careful. And so the thing is to have balance. The Bible says
Yeah.
there will always be poor among you. It didn't say you had to be among them. And so
Mm,
and so that's the thing, is that I pray for balance. Is yes, I don't want to just be wealthy in my bank account. I want to be wealthy in my spirit. I want to be wealthy in my relationships. What profit a man for me to live and die and have never lived? So all I did was work. All I did was work. Never the people around me don't even know I love them. You gotta wait till I die to come and stand over top of me and tell me what you needed to tell me. No, tell me why I can hear it. Tell me
mm.
so why I can appreciate it. Give me flowers now so I can smell them. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
life is a precious gift. It is a gift.
Yes, it is. You made when you said that giving your flowers while you're here. I
Yeah.
I was I was saying amen because I was thinking about my mother who just passed away on
Yes.
Christmas Eve,
Yes.
and one thing I can say is that 5 years before she passed,
Mm.
we got together as a family and we came up with the idea to do something. Um, I said, isn't it funny how people always wait until somebody's funeral to tell them how much they love them, and they can't, and they may or may not be able to even hear you because
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
you can't confirm, they're not going to respond. So why not?
Yeah.
Why don't we do that while people are alive? So what we
Yeah.
did was we did something called. I said, let's make it fun. Instead of calling it a funeral, let's call it a funeral,
Wow.
and let's talk about each other as if we're at each other's funeral. Let's really lay it out. What does that person mean to you? How much you love
Wow.
them? Like just just dump it on them, right? And then we did, and we got it all out.
Yes.
When my mother was healthy and we had no
Yes.
idea, the cancer was coming, none of that stuff.
Yes.
And so I encourage everybody out here, like, don't
Yeah.
wait, like, go do it
Yes.
now,
Yes.
and find your peace, and
Mhm.
you use money as a tool to help you
Yes.
get there. Like,
Yes.
money's part of the equation, but money ain't the whole puzzle. If money was the
Mhm.
whole puzzle, you wouldn't have so many people that I've
Mhm.
seen people made a lot of money,
Yes.
and they made their money at the expense of their mental health, their physical
Mhm.
health,
Mhm.
their relationships.
Mhm.
So you're sitting there with a big bank account full of money, up
Mhm.
in the hospital with a
Mhm.
terminal illness,
Yeah.
and ain't nobody coming to visit you. And big pharma is already draining your bank account with every second that you're in that hospital.
Mhm. Yeah.
So don't let that be you. Make sure
Yeah.
everything is balanced. So thank
Yeah.
you, Pastor, for that message. I appreciate it.
No problem. And I remember when your executive assistant shared with me that your mom passed, and I prayed for you because I know firsthand. I was 27 when my mother passed, and so
Mm,
we were young adults when my mother passed. And I remember the New England Journal of Medicine coming out and saying that science had finally confirmed that there was a thing called a broken heart. Well, you don't New England Journal of Medicine. You didn't have to tell me that because my heart was clearly broken and shattered. And so I know, not because I read it, not because I heard, I know what that feels like to bury a mother. But something happened when my mother died. I made my decision because I saw my mother work when she didn't feel good. I saw her struggling, trying to make ends meet. And I just remember looking at her and saying, something's got to give.
mm,
And I'm not coming out of this broke. I'm not coming out of this empty-handed. I
mm.
remember at 27, I'm 48 now, but I remember at 27 looking at my mother, 51 in the casket. And I remember saying, I'm not coming out of this empty-handed. And literally that moment, her death changed my whole life. And so yes, I'm a pastor, but literally that changed my whole life. I quit my job. Like I bought
Mm,
a franchise. I'm like, I became fearless. I became fearless.
mm.
So you talking about at 27 when my friends were partying, I was in business meetings signing contracts to buy franchises. I
Wow.
didn't have a mentor. I had faith. I didn't
Mm.
have a coach. I had faith. I felt like I had nothing to lose. So that was a what Oprah calls an moment in my life, you know.
Wow.
So yeah,
Wow.
that really was. Hmm.
I love that. What was your mother's name?
Sharon Deborah Green.
Sharon. Okay. So everybody put Sharon Green in the chat. We
Mhm.
gotta bring Miss Sharon into here a little bit.
Yes, yes,
She's
yes,
got to be here because because I
yes.
can tell you that I love that. It's. I mean, it sounds to me like you were born again.
Hmm. Ooh.
That your mother passed so you could really live.
Hmm.
Like
Absolutely.
she was your starting blocks,
Yeah.
like in the track
Hmm.
meet. She
Hmm.
blasted you
Yeah.
out, and
Yeah.
I love that, because that's
Hmm.
because that about 28 actually for me was when I became who I am now as well. It was I was going through and a lot, and most of the time the moments that inspire you to go to the next level of your life and to
Yeah.
just break off the chains, let go of the shackles is
Yeah.
usually something very painful.
Sheesh.
When it's like in the middle of like some relentless loss where life done kicked you straight in your face,
My.
and you laying on the ground bloody and bleeding and half dead.
My.
And so you almost for me anyway, I remember I almost felt like I died that year. Like, I
Yes.
don't I the guy from the year before, I'm not him.
But that
I'm the
that
guy
that that
the
guy
year
did
after
die.
that.
That
The
that
other
guy
guy,
did die. Mm-hmm.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Yeah, that guy did die, and you are absolutely so right. You don't go through that level of hell and stay the same. You don't go through that level of trauma. And I remember somebody telling me, like, you changed. Oh, yes, honey, I have. You don't cry yourself to sleep at night for a year and stay the same. Literally, I just had a meeting with my team at church, and I said, your greatest ministry will be born out of your greatest misery. It's
Oof.
not, you're not going to, you don't, you champions aren't made on the stage. Champions are made in the
In the
dirt. in the mud. They're in on off season. I remember somebody telling me one day, "Oh my God, I want to pray like you." No, you don't, silly. You don't want to learn how to pray like me. I learned how to pray giving my mother CPR and watching her turn blue and watching the paramedics put her in a bag and feeling my mind slipping away and God pulling it back. You don't want to learn how to pray like me. You
Mm.
got to go through hell and high water. Go to hell, get a bumper sticker and a t-shirt and come back out and not smell like smoke to learn how to pray and preach and do the things that I do. Don't you ever. This is not osmosis. You don't get this just because. You got to go through some things to get this.
Woof. Oh, okay. Wow. You know what? Everybody, go to Pastor Green's website, because y'all can see that she is a woman that you should know. And I got to start introducing you as the daughter of Sharon Green.
Oh,
That's what I want to. That's what
oh, I
I'm
love
thinking.
it.
I'm
I
like
love it.
I see your mother in your
Mm,
words and your passion,
yes, yes.
and I thank you for that. This has
Thank
been
you.
I don't know about everybody else in the chat, but I'm feeling more alive than ever right now,
Oh,
and I
bless
really
God.
think that this is an example of the fact that this situation, Trump, whatever it is that's concerning
Mhm,
you,
mhm.
that it's an opportunity for you to rise up. Rise
Major,
Yes,
major.
be who you're supposed to be, and
Mhm,
so I want to say thank you very much,
mhm,
Pastor. It was so great to have you today, and her name is Pastor Akisha Jefferson. Make sure y'all
yes.
spell it right. It's on the screen. I don't know. I know you're known, and you're definitely. I don't know. I don't know nothing, right? So I don't know how known or unknown you are, but you should be
It's all
super
good.
known, in my opinion,
Oh, bless you.
because you got a great message and you are the right kind of person that um we will look up to the rappers and stuff, but y'all
Mhm,
got to realize you got people like this right in your community.
yes.
This woman's a superhero. So thank you
Mm.
so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you. Thank you, Dr. Watkins. I appreciate you. Thank you for your yes, for coming to the Wealth Summit. The people were blessed. I mean, just immeasurably, just by the nuggets, the tips, the information that you gave. And so thank you for your yes, because a lot of times you send these invitations out and people they want you to qualify yourself on and
Mm,
of why I should come to your event. Well, first of all, I can afford to pay you.
mm,
And, secondly, I'm giving something for the community. But, you reach out to people and everybody's so bougie and everybody wants to be a diva or superstar. And I always tell my husband, I don't want to be famous. I just want to have clean hands and a pure heart. I
yes.
want to go out of here knowing that my living was not in vain, that somebody's life is different and better because of something that I said or something that I did. And so you never have to. I don't want to be famous. I don't. That's not my prayer. My prayer is to be effective. My prayer is to be a change agent. My prayer is that some little girl will read about me 50 years from now and know that God takes ordinary people and does extraordinary things with them.
Mm. Right on. I love that, and I agree with you 100%. And you are right. The divas in the speaking industry are it's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw some of that. I've seen that up close.
Hmm.
I did not know. Like I would have people like to me it's an honor that someone will pay you to go
Hmm.
somewhere and give a
Hmm.
speech.
Hmm.
I never ever took that for granted. In my
Hmm.
opinion, it's like if you're paying for my time and I come speak
Hmm.
for you, I work for you,
Hmm.
which means I'm gonna do everything right. I get there a day early. I do whatever you need. I'll do it. But I've seen people who almost take it the other route, where there's almost
Yeah.
maybe an over embrace of the celebrity culture,
Yeah.
where they're like, I need a first class this, I need a
Oh, it's crazy.
police escort, I need
It's crazy.
five-star, blah 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 blah. And I was like, people will pay them for this? Like,
Yeah.
you act like that with me, I'm not giving you my money. You better
It's
get up out of here
crazy.
with that.
It's crazy. And I'm telling you, I have a master's of divinity and I have gone places to preach and they don't even have a budget to pay me.
Mm,
But I still go because it is God who takes care of me. And
mm,
so literally, so that's why it's so amazing to me when I, see these divas and devo requests
mm.
because I'm like, my, I'm just I'm
Yeah.
okay. All
Oh,
right.
right.
No,
Aren't
no
you a bougie
thanks.
Negro? Okay, well,
Yeah,
good luck to
yeah. And
you.
that's why I'm like, no thanks. And that's why I'm like, you were so easy, and the process was just so effortless, and your staff was so amazing, and so professional and so excellent. And that's why I shared with you when you came to the Wealth Summit. I said your staff was just amazing. Because I mean, it's crazy out here, so
It,
I
it,
wanted to thank you for that.
well, yeah. Well, thank you for saying that. And I don't think it's that hard to be a decent human being.
I didn't think so
You
either.
just try. You make a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And then you surround yourself with decent people.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people I've worked with have worked with me for many years, and I told my brother, I said maybe I must be a nice guy because everybody that's working with me they've been here 5 or 6 years, so that makes me feel good. And
Mm-hmm.
then but also what I do expect is if I hear anybody in my team that's disrespecting,
Mm-hmm.
let's say students in the Black Business School, whatever, it's like no, you got to get out of here. This is not that
Mm-hmm.
energy, that evil energy, is not
Mhm,
healthy in any context. And so I've met a friend, and I want you to know. I want you to just let me know whenever you got something going on. If I can support or mark, promote, or whatever, I will. And I hope y'all will go to Pastor Jefferson's
mhm,
website.
mhm.
Pastor Akisha Jefferson,
And
daughter
y'all,
of Sharon Green.
I love that. You gonna kill me. So two things I messed up, y'all. It's firstsundays.net. Sorry, it's not .org. Sorry about
Oh,
that.
got that. Okay, well, that's
No,
all right.
that's
We can fix that. We can fix that.
yeah,
Okay.
it's firstsundays.net. And then the second thing I wanted to share with you is that Wealth Summit really now has just become a movement. We have gotten so many text messages from people saying before we came, we just didn't even know where to start with money. We thought it was too late or too early. So what we're doing in March, I'm hosting Turning Your Business into an Idea, which is going to be a master class. It's going to be online. You can go right to our website, which is thewealthsummit.org, and you can go on there and register. And I have been a entrepreneur since I was 27 years old. I went from owning a franchise to now I have a staffing agency. I have a workforce development corporation. If this has never been, if you've never had a time before where you didn't have a plan, you needed a plan B, you need it now. You
Mhm.
need a plan B. And some of you have been sitting on an idea for years and you don't know what to do, how to do it. This masterclass is going to bless you. It's going to help you from step A all the way to step B. So you can go right to the
Yeah.
Wealth Summit .org, and you can go in there and register for the masterclass. I would love to have you in class.
There you go. Thewealthsummit.org, everybody. There's the website. And I love the idea of making it into a movement as opposed to it shouldn't be a
Yes.
moment. It's got to
No.
be a movement. It should be
Yes.
a culture.
Yes.
Your wealth is like it's like staying healthy
Yes.
or even just breathing.
Yes.
You're gonna need money every day. So you
Yes.
want to be economically intelligent every day. So
Yes.
God bless you, the
Thank you.
Pastor Jefferson, daughter of Sharon Green, who will
Yes.
live forever because the
Yes.
spirit's too strong here. And
Yes.
the Black Business School is going to partner with you on something. I don't know what it's going to be, but
Oh,
we gonna figure this out. So
yes.
you have a good day, ma'am, and give my best to
Thank
your husband
you.
as well. And thank him for
Likewise to your
helping.
wife.
Oh, thank you so much, and yeah, and happy Valentine's Day to y'all, and
Thank you.
everybody out here. Much love to everybody in the
Yes.
building,
Yes.
and we will check back in with you a little bit later. So have a good day, everybody. See you soon. Take
Happy
care.
Valentine's Day, everybody. Have a great weekend. Bless you.